All right, everybody. Welcome back to On the Line, a fishing podcast. In tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the off-season grind. What happens when the tournaments slow down, the lakes freeze over, and the real work begins. This is the time of year where anglers either check out or lean in. We're talking giving back, dialing in gear, sharpening skills, and getting ready for what's next. So tonight we've got three guests who represent the grind in different ways: craftsmanship, community, preparation. We're excited to dig into their stories. So if you're watching live, drop questions in the chat and jump into the conversation. So a longtime Kansas Kayak Anglers member, craftsman behind all of our trophies, woodworker, shop teacher, and someone using fishing to teach life skills to kids. Let's welcome Kevin Kerr. Kevin, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. How about you guys?
Good. Glad to have you on.
Good. Thank you.
A seasoned Kansas Kayak Angler, a consistent competitor, and somebody embodies the show up and grind mindset. Everyone, let's welcome Doug Wright. Doug, how are you doing?
Hey, Doug.
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. We look forward to having you. So another Kansas Kayak Angler member and the real wizard who does repairs, upgrades, fine-tuning, and keeping your gear tournament ready. He's kept a lot of mine ready this year. Let's welcome MHK Angler himself, Neil Perrick. Neil, how you doing?
Doing good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some upcoming events, but we know it's cold outside, lakes are frozen over, so not a whole lot going on. But we want to take a moment to remind everyone to sign up for the 2026 membership. And I think we're up to about 20 so far, so make sure you get signed up for that. And here in about 3 weeks is March, which means the Big Bass Bonanza is going to start up, and also the monthly online tournaments. We talked to Todd tonight. He's working on those, getting those set up on Tourney X. And so you'll be able to sign up for those shortly. Another thing I'd like to do is we've been working our off-season grind, Tim and myself, Todd, working on sponsors for the 2026 season. Melbourne Lake Marina has offered to sponsor the Kansas Kayak Anglers again. We're going to have our award ceremony there. Eric and Jamie over there are great. Said he was going to try to provide us food again and get someplace a little less windy. So we'll see how that works out, but that's on May 2nd. We did get a new sponsor this week, Trash Panda Decals. If you've seen the post on the Facebook, there's a discount code. We are going to put that on the website. Austin's working on updating that. We also got Blue Jazz Coffee Roasters here in Topeka. They're going to provide some bags of coffee for that weary angler at 3 o'clock in the morning tournament. So we'll be bringing those to the tournament, and I'll be highlighting some of that stuff on the Facebook page as well. Also, Clayton will be giving some CNC custom baits that he's also going to give away some prize packages like he did for the award ceremony last year. But if you guys know anybody that wants to sponsor the Kansas Kayak Anglers in 2026, let us know. Reach out to your admin team, Tim, Todd, myself. And before we kick it off and I switch it over to Tim, any lake you guys are most excited about for this season for 2026? Neil, how about you? I know you love Melbourne and Milford.
Oh, yeah. Any of the Smalley lakes for me, man. That's just my jam. So I prefer to do that. I like that. It's the time of the year that really kind of gets me. I like when the top water starts to turn on, and there's nothing quite like catching smallies on top water. Right. So, but yeah, I don't know. I can't really pick one. I know my one I'm not picking is Mind Land, but that's just me.
Yeah, a little bit of drive too.
It's quite a drive for me, so obviously I'm going to be excited about the ones that are close by. But yeah, I mean Melbourne and Milford obviously are going to be at the top of my list. But I'm happy Perry's on there too and stuff. So yeah all good lakes.
Hey, what's up, Clayton and Derek? What's up, Doug? What about you? You got a one you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to them all. I have no idea why, but I've done well at Milford, so I'm looking forward to that. I do like smallie fishing, and I wouldn't predict that would be the case. I personally like small bodies of water, so I'm looking forward to Mind Land. It's such a unique fishery. And it's usually quiet and you're sort of tucked in some small spaces. And I really kind of like that. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm looking forward to all of them.
Kevin, what about you?
Oh, just from being down south like here, just adventuring north, the Melbourne, the Perrys, just different scenery. Um, I've been very fortunate to be around the mountain, the mine lands and a lot of our smaller lakes around here, the Montgomery State Lakes and you enjoy those, but getting on a bigger body of water for me is that little challenge. And obviously chasing smallies is kind of the three of us all are consensus with it, is this fact that getting a hold of a 18-inch smallies, something special.
Yeah. I'd like to get a 20 again this year.
20 would be good too. Yeah.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to the State Lake Roadrunner because I missed it last time. So I'm not sure what lake I'll go to yet, but there's so many to choose from. So
yeah, there is. We're pretty blessed in this, even in this half of the state having that many small lakes like that.
Yeah.
And they've kind of shuffled now a little bit. The Kansas Wildlife and Department of Parks, information came out today, and I was kind of looking at those state lakes. They've kind of shuffled a little bit. So there's some new lakes that are kind of at the top that it look like they're holding fish, and it should be interesting to see how everybody distributes now.
Yeah, I've been skunked by that list before. So
yeah,
some big ones. So
I don't know. I mean, I reserve judgment for that list sometimes.
Yeah,
that list there's accuracy and there's gross inaccuracy, I guess I would say, in some ways. To me, at least to me, in my experience.
Sometimes
I've followed a lot of it too over the years and just gone to check out lakes on purpose because of that forecast.
Same.
And I haven't been impressed by more than a few of them.
Sometimes I think it's the only fish in there that they shocked up.
Yep, probably.
Tim, before I switch it over to you, hey Scott, what's up? But Tim, before I switch it over to you, what's your one you're looking forward to?
Probably Perry.
Perry, yeah.
Hit or miss lake, but man, when it's on, it's on. So El Dorado too, but I have a little get together, so I won't be able to make that one.
All right. I'll let you.
El Dorado will be fun because there'll be maybe the creeks, if the creeks will be in play or not, or so there's there might be a lot of options. So
yeah, I found some good smallmouth water there, and man, there's some giants, absolute giant smallmouth in there. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I might go down and just pre-fish it and then go on. So, well, should I get into it?
Go for it.
All right, Kevin, this is for you.
All right.
Off the water, you're doing some incredible work. You're building trophies, baits, rods with the kids, lures, and real skills, teaching them. How did that start, and why is it important to you?
Well, this is my 31st year of teaching in an alternative setting. So with junior high and high school kids primarily. And it's one of those, over the years, you see different shifts in behaviors and different students coming through. And over the last 4 or 5 years, I've just found that there's just a handful of kids in each year that really have taken to fishing or have the interest in fishing. So it's just been one of those. I'm very fortunate in my job to have the luxury of any direction I want to go. Which is different than a lot of educators. You're pretty stuck to a subject where I can go 50 different ways, direction-wise, with different projects, different interest levels and stuff like that. So last 3 or 4 years, I've been kind of just building up garage sale fishing poles and stuff like that. And last couple of years, I've noticed an uptick where I'd like to get to the point where those kids will, at the end of the school year, with what equipment we have, they can take home a pretty solid tackle box of stuff that they've made. And then I've kind of expanded it this year. I've addressed it a couple times online, and we've got some really good response. And whoever's listening tonight that's donated, I really appreciate. It's you never know what you're going to get, and sometimes it's a big surprise, and others it's like, oh, that'll work. We try to mold it to whatever we can. I'm working with 2 different school programs right now, so it's a matter of making sure there's enough for both programs. But you catch an interest, with these kids and getting them outside. It's not just giving them a pole. We have the luxury of of living in Southeast Kansas. You got strip pits and state lakes and ponds and stuff that I have access to, and just get them out and fishing, and it may be from a cane pole to a kid throwing a bait caster. So, we go through a lot of hooks and sinkers and worms and bobbers, because they're not the best casting crew, but we do practice in the wintertime. Like we'll get in a gym and just got dummy lures on it and practiced objects, or these plastic little practice fish that you can hook with the line, and just get them to throwing overhand, underhand, flipping, and all the different things. But like I say, it's got to be that flexibility, because you got such a wide variety of kids. Of course, they all say they know how to fish until you actually have them tie a lure on or something, and pretty quick.
We all say that too. We know how to fish, but we really
don't. You tie on a lure and they throw it across the pond. That's no different than what we do with the rest of the group.
So do they make the baits? Do they sell them at like school at a function?
We've never really, we've talked about getting into the bait world of production, but I just can't get a steady flow of kids that would have the patience level and the staying power of keeping them making, manufacturing large quantities of bait. So I've kind of stuck with their own personal stuff, and they take a little more into that. There's just such a huge group of people selling stuff. So it's, that'd be a competitive world that I don't really want to get into with students. We explain what it costs and break down what it would cost to make. We made a bunch of underspin Roadrunners today, and I said, and I'm showing them how to tie marabou on and stuff like that. And it's like, hey, we just did 30 cents and now we got a $4 Roadrunner, so it's that practicality part, that they can put something in their tackle box and we don't have a lot of cost in it then. But yeah, it's enjoyable. You get some rewards where, I would put pictures on, but I can't because of the, confidentiality of the students. But, when you get a kid that's never caught even a perch before and get them on a place where you can catch a perch every cast, it's pretty cool. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you kind of take whatever, right?
Yeah, we're at that point. I mean, we can do some pole repairs, put new tips on, for that kind of thing. Several of them, the poles are just so bad a shape that I just have them strip them just for the eyes, and if you can salvage a handle or just different little things. And we had a really nice donation earlier this fall. It come from up north. I'm not sure who all donated, but there was probably 6 or 7 really good quality spinning reels. Not quality, but school grade spinning reels, and that really helped a lot. And getting them to cast correctly instead of having it flipped upwards, that's kind of a hard concept for them. So holding a spinning rod like it should be held.
Yeah. Now, so you other things I was thinking about. There's probably a lot of lines expensive, So are you needing some like fishing line, like braid, fluoro?
Yeah, I use that more as just educational wise. I mean, with the level we're at, just throwing mono is plenty good for, perch fishing and stuff like that. I got one student that is pretty savvy with a bait caster. I had a gentleman in Pittsburgh donate some bait casters and got him dialed in where he can throw it pretty well. And but that's pretty advanced for that, what we're trying to do. But
do we have some extra spools of mono though? Should we send them your way?
Well, yeah, I would say, and I'm building, I've got possibly, I told my big boss, I got at least 1 more year, if not 2, before I'm eligible to retire now. But, that thought is always in the back of your head once you get that age. Yeah. And, but I'm building for the next several years, for equipment wise. It's not a one and done thing. It's always evolving. just like the remelts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I've got plenty of different colors, and if I get the right kid that wants them, man, we'll fill them up. We'll just keep making. I probably got about 50 molds right now, plastics molds, injection molds. So, and that's also if you guys, through the podcast and talking, if you have an interest in one you want replicated, we're pretty good. I'm pretty close to getting the colors. We got enough varieties of dyes with the plastisol. I can get one pretty close. So, if you wanted one that's a speed crawl or something that you really use, I mean, that's just a quick message to me, and we can see if we can get one really close. And I mean, we can knock out 100 of them, pretty quick. And it'd be a donation deal. We don't charge tax. We don't charge, being a school, you have to be kind of careful on how you do your money.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one of those, it's, you just play it, and my kids are always coming in or going out. We got new kids that we serve 13 school districts. So if the behaviors are excessive enough where they have to come to our school, we may get right after spring break, we may get 4 new students, and you just don't know. Our goal is to try to get them back to their home schools, but that doesn't. Usually they burn their bridges pretty hard at their home schools, so it's kind of a tough thing. But that's what makes it kind of unpredictable, because I could have 4 kids by spring that are hardcore, ready to go. So that's why I'm always in the seeking for donations.
Yeah. So you plan on being at the Mineland Wildlife Area tournament then?
Daniel and I fish quite a bit together as a boat tournament, so we're trying to juggle all of our schedule around. Obviously, we're going to try and make as many as we can of both. So,
well, I was going to suggest that if people want to, they can bring it down if they're coming down the Mineland Wildlife Area.
Right. Or, just get a hold of me and we can either meet, or I know Shannon Copeland's had brought a couple things down through his son. He was going to Pitt State, and that worked out real good. I've made a couple trips to Wichita and picked up things out that way. And I mean, I'm not afraid to jump in the truck and go if it's a good donation where it's worth my gas.
If anybody needs to, they can bring it to myself as well if I see you or
the
area. And I've got a box started already, so
yeah. Scott has some more said, so Scott has
Scott said he still got some stuff for you too. So
yeah.
So we'll bring it. We'll get a box. Maybe we'll get a box together.
Nope. Like I say, anything and everything's appreciative. It's just to specify just one isolated thing, there just isn't, because it's just a matter of the more I can get donated, the more it goes right to their tackle boxes.
Yeah, awesome.
So, yeah.
Do they have old tackle boxes too? They need more tackle boxes?
I'll probably do a Walmart run at the end of the year and just buy, the cheap little Play-Dohs or something like that.
Okay.
Obviously, if there is a donations for them, that helps. But, I do have some of a budget where I can go get all of them the same. Obviously with working with students and kids, well, that tackle box is nicer than yours. If you buy 10 of them all the same, they can't right.
Makes sense.
And the trophies are that way as well, right? You have the kids. And the kids, do all of them come from other schools? The school that you work with, I can't remember.
Yeah, we serve 13 districts.
Yep, 13 districts that go there. That
can go there, or Columbus, one of the two, Girard or Columbus. And I happen to work in both of them, so I do half a day in Girard and half a day in Columbus.
Okay. Very nice. So. I'm going to move on to my next question for Doug. So, Doug, as someone who fishes and for those trophies that Kevin's and his kids produce, what does it mean knowing the story behind them and the purpose of those trophies?
I mean, I think it adds another layer to the interest in terms of fishing those tournaments. So, kind of knowing the backdrop. I mean, I think it's been fascinating to kind of understand sort of how the kayak fishing community has developed in Kansas. What are the various iterations that have developed as part of that? Who stepped up to really kind of take leadership? And that's also part of the tournaments that we fish in. There's unique aspects to every aspect of the tournament, whether it's the local community around the lake or something special about that, or somebody who's really meant a lot to the community, and so we celebrated those tournaments. So it just adds another little bit of motivation to kind of understand the backdrop, why we're at these lakes, what's important, and who's been impacted by that. So I think it's a great thing. And I kind of sort of think about, I think when we go down to Mine Lands, I think our group can really contribute to Kevin. It's a great opportunity, and I think we need to kind of continue to build on that. So I think it means a lot. I know I fish in a couple of tournaments on the Missouri side that they have sort of a named tournament, and there's fundraising around that, and there's really good efforts towards supporting people that have either been lost or part of that community. And I'd like to see the KKA do that as well. I think that just adds a little bit more, and perhaps maybe drives out participation as well. If there's additional goals for the club to generate revenue or something to support families or whatever, support things like Kevin's doing, I think that's a great thing. So yeah, I think it's really important.
Nice. Well, Neil, I'll head on to you. From a fishing gear perspective, how important is it to learn the why and the how early on? Not just catching fish, but understanding how things actually work.
Well, I mean, I grew up on a lake. So I was fortunate enough to be able to have it in my backyard. And my background is my mother's from the Philippines, my father's from India. My grandfather, when I was young, came over to live with us for a while. And the funny thing is, he actually was a fisherman for a living back in the Philippines. So I learned a lot from him. So learning early is a big deal. And so, like what Kevin's doing, I think is really cool, because when I lived in Kansas City, before I fished as much as I do now, I golfed a lot, and I was actually part of a Metro Junior golf program there, where we taught underprivileged kids how to play golf and stuff like that. I'd played my whole life, and you never realize the difference you make for kids, just them getting opportunities they wouldn't have otherwise. We gave them scholarships away and stuff like that, but getting an early start just kind of helps them. They get a basis for life. I mean, fishing teaches you a lot of lessons. You learn a lot of patience. I mean, and if you don't, then you probably burn out, kind of early, but I think just getting an early starts it just adds. I mean, you get so many memories, I mean, some of my best memories are fishing with my grandpa on that lake that we grew up on. I can remember vividly those adventures we had. So yeah. I think big time. I think it forms a lot of a kid's perspective on the world too. So
very nice
point. Clayton has a question. Has there ever been a consideration for KK sponsored kids fishing derby? I think there's been talk of it here and there, but it's never really followed through. And I'd actually love to see something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where I would start on something like that. So maybe if a couple people have thoughts on that, we could get together and see what we could do for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you could do stuff like so on Milford, we have a team series, and then we do jackpots throughout the summer. And one of the things they do for the jackpots, I think, Tim, you think you fish one of the teams. I don't know if you fish one of the jackpots, but they always say invite a kid. And so in those ones, they'll let the kid participate too. And his fish will count as part of the team's. So he gets to weigh in. They get to weigh in fish too. He or she gets to weigh in fish too and be part of the tournament. So they kind of get to see that part of it too. And then they don't have an age restriction on that or anything like that. So I mean, you got little kids out there, and a lot of these guys have kids that they just take the friends' kids they take out and stuff like that. So we could work something out. It's a little harder with the kayaks because obviously they're individual and there's only one of us on a kayak. But I mean, most of us don't really mind much letting other people borrow our kayaks and stuff like that. We teach a kid how to use it properly, keep them safe.
Yeah.
We could come up with something. We all know the pitfalls as well as anybody because we've all been doing it for quite a while now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good question. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, next one's to you. It's
Yeah.
kind of this is a roundtable discussion on this question, so I'll ask all you guys this. But when anglers think about the off season, what's one thing they could do that helps the sport and not just their own results? So what's one thing that you could do to help the sport in general that's, maybe not you exactly related, so helping the community out?
Right. Um, I think I saw you guys had went to the trade show up north. Just getting out and publicizing the kayak fishing. The Pittsburgh area had one at the Memorial Auditorium for years and years through Albers Marina, and they moved it out this year to Camptown, the old dog track out there, and it was night and just unbelievable difference. I mean, the space and you can bring in the boats, and it's definitely, that's one that would grow tremendously, I think. So I would say, getting that group of committee that get out and just talk about kayak fishing. I think we're hitting a low, after COVID like this. We're starting to see less and less of the tournaments. Obviously our 4 groups have merged into one, but I don't think the numbers are quite what we thought they would be 4 years ago. And I think that's part of it's just getting out and telling more people about them. When it comes to the kayak fishing, the fishing in general, just getting involved with the fishing game. I think there's, I got a permit for the state to fish any lake, as long as I'm present. Anybody fishing with me doesn't have to have a fishing license, so that helps, in certain situations.
How do you get that?
You just go through you apply it through the state, and it's $50 a year, and my interlocal pays for it. But like I say, I just carry a card, and I know all the game wardens down here anyway, so it's not an issue. But if I want to take 3 kids to go fish Big Hill and they're 17 years old, they don't have to go buy a fishing license one day.
That's pretty neat.
So yeah, but the fishing games are more than happy to help you.
Yeah.
Obviously they get the dark side of things when they have to give tickets, but for the most part, they're pretty educational bound.
Yeah. Well, Doug, what about you? What do you think in the off season?
Well, I agree with Kevin. I think that, the more visible we are, throughout the year is important, and getting out and talking about it. I still have a pretty busy full-time job, but what I try to do is make sure that I'm engaged in the clubs, that I'm, paying my dues early, so that the finances are, so that we have a better understanding of what we can do throughout the year, and engaging in social media. This is a unique sport too, so I get lots of questions from people who are like, why do you have so many fish on your social media? And so I'm happy to talk to them about it and kind of really sort of teach them. And then the other thing I think is important is that we sort of kind of keep the barriers to entry pretty low. If we want to grow the sport, this has gotten really technical and kind of expensive to some degree. And so I think having options for people to get into the sport and, dip their toe in the water and get engaged and, and start to participate in tournaments, I think is really important. I think the Sunflower League does that really well. I think that's, really a focus for theirs. But, jumping in some can be pretty intimidating. And so making sure that those pathways to entry are still open for a lot of people, I think it's really important. So
nice. Neil?
Well, I mean, to tag on a little what Doug said, social media is huge right now, right? And so I don't, if you don't understand and you don't need to understand how all the little algorithms work and stuff like that, just know that anytime you like a video or share a video or share any information or anything from a fishing, local fishing place, forever, and I just know that a lot of people are going to see it just because you did that. A lot of people that some people that you don't know, friends of friends, all these kind of things. That's how social media works. So just to do those little things and do those quick little things, that's just a way to try to get more people involved. And the other thing you can do is always just try to support the local, lure makers and stuff that we have around here and stuff like that. I mean, whether it's CNC Custom Baits or whether it's, I know Austin makes some of his own stuff, and a lot of those locals were at Kayak Jacks Expo up there. I mean, supporting all those people makes a big difference too. And I mean, you could sit down and talk to those people for hours, and they'll tell you all kinds of stuff and show you all kinds of neat stuff, and have a million stories. And a lot of it is just sharing stories, amongst fishermen. That's what fishing, a lot of it's about, is sharing your fishing stories. How big or how small they are, but it gets people engaged. I mean, everybody likes to hear a good fishing story, right? I mean, that's just so.
Oh, yeah.
There's always an audience for that to me. And so,
over 17 state records lost this year. So
see, there you go.
Already, or that last year?
Already this year, yes, already this year. Just in the last 2 weeks.
But, I mean, it's crazy stuff. There's like so many stories. People love that stuff. People eat that stuff up. I think people eat that stuff up even more now than ever before, just because people are hungry for that stuff. There's so much bad stuff in the world and everything. People are hungry for just good stories and feel good stories.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I was. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'll just add on. One of the things that Tim and Tony and Neil do is they put out content, and that's actually really good exposure for the support as well. That's how I kind of learned about the sport. This is and kind of understood that there were really fun, groups that are out fishing in competition. So that content on YouTube, no matter how many fish Tim loses, I still watch all of his videos, and I make sure that I like them, and trying to build their views. And so I think that's really important, and I think there's a lot of people in our community that are doing a good job with that, and keep it up. And you guys need to put out some new content, because I've watched everything, and I need a little bit more to watch.
I've actually got Lake of the
Ozarks. Ice is melting. It's coming, man.
Hopefully,
I got Lake of the Ozarks in the first 4 tournaments I need to put out. I just haven't put them out yet.
Surprisingly, though, Doug is always at my spot. I don't
yeah, no, there's a reason. It's because I watch the videos. Yeah.
He uses algorithms and calculations to mark spots on the map.
So you got to look at people's sunglasses is what you got to do. So
you got to look at the shadows and see which direction the sun is coming
from. On the dam? I can't tell. Yep, look at the reflection. There's rocks.
I appreciate it. I like to put it out there. Nobody watches my fishing videos that much, but I enjoy doing them. Try to get a little. I've gotten a lot better at it, the fishing videos, I think. I'm still not good, but I'm better than I was when I started.
You talk to the camera better than I do. I know that.
I try to talk more into the camera, but don't mumble like I do.
Yeah. Tim doesn't get it.
My favorite move is when Neil catches a 15 or a 16, he says, just a little one, guys, and he tosses it back. And I'm like, 15, I'd take that.
I remember a video of Neil catching I think it was almost a 6-pounder on a buzzbait, and he had to stop the camera because he got so excited and regain his composure. So that was a big pass.
Most of Tim's videos actually get edited out because he's swearing too much. So,
when I lose the fish. So
that's the best part about the videos, man. You can edit out whatever you don't want people to see, because there's there's a lot of stuff that probably is not that becoming of me, really.
I've had that question
one
before.
Over the background. I tried to blur out one at Melver, and I was like, looking at it after I did, I'm like, you can see exactly where I'm at. So it's like, it doesn't matter.
Just don't put it out if you don't want people to know where you're at.
It's all good. It's all good. So, Tony, go ahead.
I was at a good 25 fish day at Lone Star, and somebody was asking, like, man, how do you catch so many fish? I was like, you didn't see the others, 7 hours and 45 minutes of me not catching fish. So.
Well, I think we'll get into segment 2, Tony. I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah. So, it's more than just tournaments and angler experience and teaching community. So thank you, everybody, for talking about that. And I think it's really important that we give back to the community and give back to, for us, it's, it's our getaway and our, mental health and physical health for angling and fishing and kayaking. And so I think it's important to help other people out and give back to the community. So I would like to do a little bit more this year as a club. I think it's kind of going back in the growth mode. So like to see something. So if you guys have ideas, drop them in the comments yourself, and maybe even tell us how you give back as well. So feel free to drop those in the comments. So you all are new to the show. I don't think any of you have been on yet. Is that correct?
Yep.
No.
First
All right.
time.
So
Yep.
I want to hear a little bit more about your guys' story. So Doug, I'll start with you. So how did you get into fishing, and then when did like kayak fishing kind of get into your knowledge and know-how and what you do?
Yeah, so I'll kind of flip it and sort of say, I had an opportunity to go fish the Gasconade in Missouri in 2023, and forgot how much I absolutely loved that. So I bought my first kayak right after that in the fall, and then 6 months later, I was in my first tournament at Big Hill, and not knowing anything about it. And I remember Tim coming around the corner, and I obviously was struggling, and he was very kind and gave me some instruction. So I always remember that, Tim. But I've fished all my life, but not with purpose, right? So I grew up a little small town in Illinois, pretty close to the Mississippi River. My uncle had a place right on one of the backwaters, so we were playing in the water and fishing my entire growing up. I've always had a canoe. I was raised in a canoe, and so I fished on the Mississippi in a canoe, fished a lot of streams. I had a chance to go to graduate school in Kentucky and fish a lot of the limestone streams there, and catch my heart's content of rock bass. And then, I did a lot of farm fishing as well. I sort of kind of used, back then we used, worms on a jig head, and, now they call it a shaky head. So I kind of was raised by that. But again, never with purpose. And then kind of when I learned about kayak fishing, it kind of blended my two, I love fishing and I love competition. So it was a perfect, opportunity to jump in. And of course I went from 0 to 100, in a way too fast at the time. So I'm already on my third, kayak, and, have every piece of technology that
started. Jeez.
Yeah. So it's very early for me, and there's a lot of things to learn about tournament fishing that I'm still learning. It's a big challenge, but I love it. And it's kind of based on growing up fishing with my dad out of a canoe. So.
Neil, aren't you on like kayak 10 or 12?
I lost count, Kevin. I
Last year.
I mean, that's just depressing, and all it does is just remind me how much money I wasted.
I've actually got one of his kayaks out on my porch.
There you go. That's a good one too.
I think I'm on my third kayak.
I love it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that Hobie Lynx.
Nope. It's
He talks about it all the time.
one of the best kayaks I've ever bought.
Thing's indestructible, dude. Seriously.
Yeah. Yep.
People talk about it being fragile. Whatever.
Yeah. It's got a lot more big bass since I've owned it, but yeah.
Oh, touche.
Ouch.
I'm kidding. They don't get into the kayak; they get off. So,
So Kevin, what about you? How did you get into fishing, and then how did you get into kayak fishing?
Basically, kind of fall in line. I grew up fishing from a very, very early age, living in southeast Kansas, Wichita, Derby area. Grandparents, both sides, grandpas were avid cat fishermen, the old World War II generation guys. And so it was about every weekend was between one of the two grandpas. I was fishing the old Zebco 33 and holding on to a pole and seeing what big a catfish we could catch, or bullheads. We were bullhead fishermen too, because they ate them. It's like, ugh. But that's what they grew up doing, was eating bullheads. So that's all they knew. But fishing's always been it's always been part of my life. My dad and then all the family has all fished, and then got into the bass boat fishing, right out of high school in the college area, and enjoyed that. Dabbled in the tournaments a little bit, but more fun fishing. Lived down here, southeast Kansas, since college. So obviously this area's, sucked me in and kept me. And then I think it was 2018, I got my first kayak, which I still use it. I've altered it about 5 times. I like the MacGyvering part of rebuilding them and stuff like that. So I'm still in the original kayak that I started with. So
the Jackson, right? Is it
the Jackson the big tuna. And I've altered it about every different way I can alter it. And it's one of those, I don't know if I'd ever do anything else to it. And if I went and got another kayak, I'd probably go get another big tuna and switch everything over. So just feel comfortable in it. Huh?
I've got a question for you. You're the one with the custom net, right? That on your,
yes, it is. Yeah, the bassinet.
First off, did you lose so many fish you decided to build that? Second off, have you ever lost a fish in that net that you have?
Have I locked it?
Have you ever lost a fish jumping out of that?
Nope. When we were first started in the kayaking, I was fishing the KKA and Air Capital out in Wichita area, and if Matt Scoots is around there listening, he can test. We were at Eureka Lake, and I think we were both struggling, and then I ended up catching some decent fish, and was thought I was kind of in contention. And I think I had an 18 flop off the board right there, and I had lost some in the past, but nothing. No, with that kind of a crunch on it, with the tournament like that being on the line, and boy, I was just devastated. I mean, you work so hard to get up there and get that fish because it was a tough day. Mm-hmm. And had that quality fish and have that stupid thing flop. And I got a picture of it, kind of about a third of it in the picture. And that learning curve, I made a point that it was never going to happen again. So I started MacGyvering and come up with this contraption. And I've never lost, to knock on wood, I haven't lost a fish since that day I got that built. I've redesigned it several times.
Yeah, it's basically a giant net around your board.
Yeah, the board sits down into a rectangle with netting all the way around, and you can reach through the net and hold the fish. How you take the picture, and it saved my butt lots of times.
I saw that, and I was thinking a laundry basket would work nice.
Yeah. I've had numerous people. We've fished in some other bigger tournaments at times, and looking at it and like, you need to patent that thing. You need to do that. And I'm going, it's so specialized just for my kayak, because it sits permanently out, and I'm sitting in a 14-foot kayak, so that helps. But I think the whole patenting thing would be, I've kind of lost that window of opportunity, I think. I needed to do it about 3 years ago. But so yeah, that kind of got me into the kayak fishing, and then Daniel Maffei and I have kayak fished for several years together, and kind of dabbled in the boating again, and we got hooked into it. So we're trying to juggle between both of them. I'm enjoying both of them. It's when you go from one to another and back to one, you start realizing we've gained a whole lot of knowledge because of kayak fishing. And we fish a totally different bass boat tournament because of our kayak fishing, and we've done well. So we've been pretty happy with, how well we can work together. But a lot of it's just because we're seeing it from a different angle because of the kayak fishing. So
I think it makes you a slower angler in a boat, probably, where you stay at one point longer. Maybe.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah, I'd say the slower and just different angles.
Yeah.
If you've never encountered being up on the bank like on a kayak, the angles that you can hit and keeping it in a strike zone if they're at 5 foot, and you're sitting out 30 foot out, from a bank, you only got that window pretty short. But in a kayak, you can sit right on it, and that just adds more opportunities for catching fish. So, yeah, so it's been a fun cycle. Unfortunately, we've, because of the competitiveness and because of the price, I think we've lost people that would have, not the price of our term, it's just the cost of the kayaks themselves.
Yeah.
It's right back into the boat world again. That's why I got out of the boat world originally. I couldn't keep up with all those guys. So, so I'd hope to see us. I know Missouri's doing a traditional style
Grassroots.
series, and I don't know how big of a response it will be this year, but it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think they've left it doing smaller lakes. They're the grassroots for
Yeah.
Moyac.
Right.
I think they've capped it at 30 anglers, and I think they pretty much filled up.
Good. You know, but it comes down to a safety issue on these bigger lakes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we fished in a Sika one at Lacine, and we had 2 guys capsized because of the waves and lost everything. And, you know, when you get on those bigger bodies of water, paddling's just not safe.
Yeah.
You know, these motors and these pedals, I mean, you can at least get somewhere where you can get out of it. If you're stuck out there with paddling, you're really kind of got yourself in a jam.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Neil, what about you? You kind of told us a little bit about your backstory on fishing, but how'd you get into fishing and kayak fishing?
Well, I mean, I told you guys about growing up, and grew up in northern Iowa, only an hour from Okoboji. If you guys are familiar with Okoboji, obviously,
Yeah.
You
It's on my bucket list.
Great Lake. My folks were fortunate. My folks had a condo there, so I got to fish Okoboji a lot. So, every get a chance, absolutely take advantage. But I got out of the fishing game for a lot. I mean, not the game, but just like fishing in general. In general for a while, because I was golfing so much. My father is big into golf, so we were doing golf tournaments and all that stuff a long time. And then when I moved to Kansas City to go to law school, something about it, I don't know, I just decided to start going fishing again for some reason. Really enjoyed it. I always liked bass fishing. We kind of had like little miniature like bass tournaments on our little lake that I grew up on, like way back when. Like when the buzzbait first came out. I mean, this is why I still love the buzzbait, guys. I mean, like way back then when the Lunkin lure first came out, you'd buy those things at the local. I can't remember the name of the store, but I think it was either Kmart or Cernet's or Shopco, I think, or something like that. We'd go buy the buzzbaits, and we'd have a tournament where all you could throw was buzzbaits on our little lake, and it was fun, you know. So when I was in Kansas City, I just started getting the bug again, and so I looked around for some competitive stuff because I liked competing, and found a bass club there. So it's called the Raytown Bass Club. Joined the club. It was bass boats, and you got paired up. It was weird, a little bit different though, because you fished against the guy in the boat with you. So you fished against everybody against everybody. And so I stayed with them for a while. It was a great time. We traveled all over the place. We go to Grand Lake, Lake of the Ozarks, Table Rock, all those good places, and had a great time. A lot of good camaraderie. That's the number one thing was like the camaraderie, just like sitting down, having barbecue the night before, poker games, and just having a good time. Then good times in the water. And then I was president of the club for a while. I won Angler of the Year somehow one year out of the back of the boat. I have no idea how I did that. It seems impossible these days. And then I just really liked it. Kind of life went on, had kids and all that stuff, and started getting back into it when I moved to Manhattan and found the I-70 Bass Anglers that you fished with before, Tim. And so, met those guys, got into it again. I bought a bass boat. I kind of had gotten to know Clayton over the years. I'd found him on Bass Resource. He's a mod on there, a moderator on there, and I had met him through there. And so I started following his stuff, and we actually met up one time to go bass fishing on a little kind of private lake most people might know of, called Wabaunsee. We caught a few fish that day, let's just say. So anyway, but then I saw in 2020, that's 2020, he bought a kayak. Was it 2020, I think, that he got his kayak, or 2019? Something like that. And I was watching Clayton do all these videos. I saw him win his first tournament in Lacine out of a kayak. And I'm like, this is freaking, this is awesome. This is so cool. It's like, it was just different because it was more basic, more down, it's different, right? To catch the fish, when you're almost level with the water versus when you're above it in a boat. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's just, it's just something different. So I was like, God, that looks cool. And, my kid had kind of he wasn't that into the fishing anymore. And I'd kind of gotten the boat for him and I so we could fish together. And I was like, well, you know what? I got my buddy here who's got this big 20-foot champion bass boat. We can still fish out of that if we want. So like Kevin, I kind of do both. Now I kind of try to balance the two. And so I got a kayak. I sold the boat and bought a kayak. And most people probably think that's freaking crazy. And I agree with you. You're probably right. It's probably crazy. But I had a blast the first time I was out in it. And ever since then, it's the same old thing, guys. It's like I just chasing the next best thing when it comes to, doing it, right? Well, I've had 10 kayaks or whatever the hell I've had, or, you chase it. It's the chase. Part of it's the chase, right? Just to try to figure out what's the next best way to catch a fish, or how many more fish can you catch? So that's just kind of my story. I kind of try to do both like Kevin does because, you get the camaraderie is part of it too. If you have a really good partner, someone you have a good time with, that's a totally different experience being on the water together and trying to figure it out together. And it builds something else there too, And I will say Kevin's right, like 2023 was probably my best year ever for big fish. And that was the year that Matt, I, and Scott were doing that whole competition with Nebraska, the year-long monthly team thing. And I was so focused on big fish that year. And that was the year that we won in the bass boat term. So we won 2 boat tournaments that year. And we set the record on Milford that year. And my partner just said, he goes, you're just a different fisherman this year. He's like, you have a different focus. He's like, I don't know what it is, but I think it's just because I was focusing on catching big fish all year. And it just your mindset was different.
How many pound bag was that, Neil? Was it 23?
19.38 pounds of smallies.
Nice. Nice. That's a good day on the water.
For the kayakers
that
out
was
there,
the craziest day ever, man. We called the entire bag. What?
How many inches would you say that is for all the kayakers out there?
Whoa, geez.
95, 98?
I would say, yeah, every bit of that. There was 2 fish in there over 20 for sure. And everything else was pushing 19 something. I mean, it's just because there's 2 5-pounders in that bag.
Yeah.
And so it was crazy. We called every single fish, caught the biggest fish of the day with 20 minutes to go. I loaded up with the biggest fish of the day with 20 minutes to go. It was ridiculous.
Gotta love that.
Oh, I know. It's just
it's
a storybook,
It's the never-ending story of don't give up until it's over, until that bell rings.
Well, it's like we had a ridiculous day, and I had joked earlier in the day, because I figured we had like 16 pounds or something. I joked earlier today. I said, let's just do something stupid and bring something in like 19 pounds and just blow all these guys away. And for some stupid reason, it just happened. Little luck goes a long ways. But
yeah,
we took our licks on that lake too for years. So
when it's your day,
we're not all like you, Tony, or Mr. Wright over here and come out there and kick butt the first time in Milford. All right,
I've been out there a few times.
Let's put our time in.
In 2024, I only had like 60 inches at Milford.
Oh yeah, so you took your licks out there once too?
Yeah.
Tony told me, he's like, well, that rock looks really pretty on the bank. I'm just going to fish right here. And then I'm like, okay, I went like 17 miles.
Well,
sometimes you overthink it.
Well, if you remember, I had sent that picture in our group chat, Neil, the night before, saying the bigger one I had caught that day, and that's where I had caught it at, and I left, and I just left. So I'm like, I'm coming back here tomorrow. So I fished the whole rest of the day and got hardly anything. And so I was like, well, we'll see. So
I promise you there won't be any fish there this year after I get done with it.
Yeah, I'm sure there won't be. Doug's already got the spot locked in. He knows where he's watched them. I actually meant to delete that video, but it's such a good video. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, you will find no Milford videos on my channel. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's a few, I guess, but they're community spots I don't care about.
Yeah. So. All right. So just a real quick round robin here. Doug, to you, what's a piece of advice you give someone listening right now on either getting into kayak fishing or tournament fishing?
Well, one, keep your expectations low. There's a lot of really good sticks out there. I kind of thought I was a pretty decent fisherman until I fished my first, first season, and just realized how many great folks are out there. So focus on the fun, right? Obviously, if you're going to go out there, just make sure that you're focused on the fun and not the results. I think that's important. The other thing I would say is what I've learned is that technology doesn't help you as much as you think it will. I've invested a lot of money and I realize now that, just having a gut feeling about something, about a place that looks fishy is just as good as using all the technology. So, you don't need to get into it. You don't need to spend a lot of money, go out and have fun and just fish. And then the last thing I would say is ask questions, because what I've found is that these communities have been really helpful. Everybody on this tonight has helped me in some capacity, given advice or, had conversations, so I do appreciate that. And that's what's really cool about this, is that if you're new to it, don't be afraid to ask, because everybody will kind of help you out and give you a little juice, whether they think they're holding on to it or not. You can get it out of them. So, just use this community to kind of improve and to make new friends. That's the other part about this, is I have a whole new set of friends in the last 2 years that are, completely new to me. So that's really cool.
Yeah, Tim's very rare to give out. Oh wait, no, he gives everybody the juice.
You can get it from Tim if you're just persistent. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
He'll take you out to his truck and show you, actually.
I have a advantage there, is because I've never thought I was a good fisherman, so I never came into it thinking I was going to win anything. So maybe that's why I got lucky a few times. Kevin, what about you? What's a piece of advice you give someone?
I would say, kind of like with Doug, just your expectations. I always thought, in Kansas that, you ought to be able to go out and catch 75 inches of fish. That was my standard. I had to have 75 inches. And over the last several years, watching how many tournaments, if a guy just would have scored a 70, would be in the top 5 a whole lot of tournaments just with 70 inches. So those 13 and 14 inchers are pretty important in the very beginning, and then that culling concept, that's what keeps you fed, is if you catch that 14 and you catch that 14 and a half, well, you've just gained a half inch, and you play those little teeny baby steps. And I think that's what gets you through some tournaments. But I think I'd like to see us as a group really push the monthlies for a lot of these people. I know my brother over in Iola and his sons. It's pretty intimidating coming in, as a new kayaker, to guys that are, fully equipped and they're hammers. They're 85, 90 inchers every time. So, getting into those monthlies, I think, is a crucial part, because that you set your own pace, and you set your own goals. My goal this year is to compete with Scott and those guys up there. I want to push 100 inches every month. So,
don't we all?
That's my own personal goal. So,
I don't think my best 5 fish in 2025 were 100 inches. I'll tell you what, I didn't have a great 20. I had a lot of 19s and 19s and a halves, but man, breaking that 20 mark was really hard for me last year.
You hit these small state lakes, they're in there.
So, that's my plan this year. So.
Yeah.
All right. And Neil, what about you? What's a piece of advice you give someone?
Spend within your means.
Or don't.
Don't buy 5 kayaks.
Are you sleeping on the couch in the basement, Neil? Is that what I see?
Yeah. Spend within your means. You don't need all the fancy stuff necessarily. And I will just say this, coming from a guy who was in a bass boat, before and stuff too, just realize that, if you like running around and fishing 50 different spots, it might not be for you, or you may need to make an adjustment in the way you think.
Yeah.
One of the best pieces of advice is I heard Clayton on the last on your last video, one of the last videos. I'm not saying that, what he tries to do is spend as much time as he can in quality areas that he knows that there are quality areas to fish. That's really important. If you feel like a spot, and you don't have to have all the equipment to know that. If you feel like a spot's fishy, fish it out, man. Fish it out, fish it thorough. If there's a lake that you're fishing and you're happening to be fishing a tournament on this time, and you've caught a big fish in a certain spot, multiple big fish in a certain spot before, don't give up on that spot easy, because they're there. And kayak fishermen will tell you stories and stories and stories. I'll tell you one about Kevin Kerr out of and when a Melbourne championship 2 years ago, you were fishing that area over there by that stupid freaking ramp that we all fish or whatever.
Yeah.
You were just back there, and I saw you. We talked as I was walking in there, going in there with my little freaking lynx, and you had said you'd been back there, hadn't caught hardly anything. You left there, and I caught a 16.5 and a 17.5 right after you left.
Yes.
It happens to everybody, right?
Yeah.
And you stayed in there forever, Kevin, because you knew there was quality back there.
Yeah.
It just never happened for you. You know, quality areas. That's the best. That was golden. They gave away a nugget there. I mean, seriously. So.
Yeah. That's why I like fishing away from everybody, because usually they're catching fish and I just get frustrated that I'm not. So that's why I try to stay away from everybody.
I told this story once before, but I was at Lake Shawnee fishing with Clayton, and I was in front of him, and I wasn't catching anything. I heard splash, splash, splash behind me. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, he caught 5 fish behind me right where I just went through. I'm like, oh.
It's not an episode of On the Line without the mention of Clayton 7 times. So we appreciate you, Kevin, the king of Kansas kayaks.
That's right.
So thank you for that. So Tim, I'll move on to you if you'd like. We talk a little bit about some gear prep and kind of some off-season mindsets. Yeah,
Neil, we'll start with you. So people don't realize how much reels affect the performance, your performance, but what is the biggest mistake anglers make with their gear, like their reels? And do you see the reels coming into your shop? Or
oh gosh, you guys wouldn't believe the number of people that don't put line on their reel properly, even like don't change their line often enough. I mean, I change my line almost every freaking tournament. If not every reel, at least a good number of them. Now the braid, the leader, and stuff like that with spinning and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't change the braid every time, but you'd be amazed. And then just like, I mean, I know I'm the unusual versus some other people, but I'm very, very anal about taking care of my reels. But I believe that makes a difference. I heard Kevin Van Dam say one time, it's like, you control the variables that you're able to control. He's like, he wants to control every variable that he can control. And the reel is one of those things that you can control. You can control how your reel performs by making sure you take care of it. I put covers in all my reels. I mean, as something as stupid as going down a dusty gravel road with your reels out, because you're moving from spot to spot. Guess what your reel looks like when you freaking get to your next spot? It's caked in freaking dust, and it's not going to function worth a crap for you. All right. You may think it's okay, but I'll tell you what, maybe not that time, but the next time you're going to have an issue, or another time. It gets in your reel so easy. Dust and dirt and grime get in your reel a lot easier than you realize, especially if you guys that work on fish grass lakes a lot. That grass will get down all the way inside your reel in the spots that you couldn't even understand. And like Marty Hughes will send me his reels. I mean, his bait casters get gummed up. I've worked on some of Tyler Alexander's too. Another one of those guys that's fishing up those grass. Those reels they get to be a mess. That grass gets all the way down in there. So I would just say, it's easy to overlook just taking care, just doing a little thing. Take care of it. Put a cover on it. Put it in the back of your SUV or something like that, or just try to make sure you keep it out of, just because it's going to make a difference in your performance somewhere along the way. So that's all I could say. Do service on them if you can. There's a lot of good videos out there to do your own service on your reels. I mean, you don't necessarily need somebody like me to do your service on your reels. You maybe need somebody like me maybe every couple years, but you can maintain your reels pretty well on your own. I use Lucas Speed Oil. I use Daiwa Space Age Blue Grease. These things, it goes on there real easy. That's what I use, and it's not rocket science. Just watch a video, and when you take everything apart, if you do, put it in order, so you can put it back in order. But if you forget, heck, half the time, guys, I get reels I've never worked on before. I just go look for a schematic on Google in case I get kind of turned around or something, and then I just find the schematic, I put it back together. It's not, I wouldn't say it's not hard. It takes a steady hand. It takes patience. It's not, don't think I haven't yelled at somebody's reels before. Probably swore at some of Kevin's old freaking whatever he gave me to try to fix that one time. And, and Tony's broken freaking, how he broke the main shaft on his freaking DC or whatever. I don't know.
Smallmouth
still works great. Tip my kayak on land.
Yeah, don't take Tony's advice. Don't drop your kayak on your reel or whatever you did.
Yeah.
Backstory: he was trying to beat me into Lone Star, and instead of backing his trailer down the ramp, he rammed it off the side, and he left it set there so he could beat me in the water, and it flipped over. So
that's Tim's story. I was just because how small that parking lot is, the boat ramp at Lone Star.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna put my wheels on it. I got my wheels. And I was like, oh crap, I forgot something in the truck. And so I turned around and I was gonna go back to the truck and get it. And as soon as I turned around and let go of the front of my kayak, it was just slightly on an angle, and the kayak just goes floop right on the side. So the wheels were kind of narrow. So that's one of the reasons I want to get some of that new landing gear, that they're really wide and they come off really easy. But
so he clean broke off the main shaft that goes through your center of your reel. He clean broke it off.
He fixed it. Neil fixed it for me though, and I'm still using it. It works great. Upgraded some bearings to some. Give me what are those bearings? The ceramic bearings.
Give me some ceramics. Yeah.
I love. I noticed a huge difference on the ceramic bearings. They're huge difference. So, and
I think they make
price.
difference.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought they worked good. But good stuff.
I think it's good to take care of your stuff. I mean, if you're gonna, don't complain about your reel, messing up for you on the water if you didn't take care of it. I guess is the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I just shove it in the water if it starts getting hard to turn, and it frees right up. So
just remember that bait casters are a lot easier to work on than spinning reels, in my opinion. So, but bait casters should last a really long time. The design of bait, a spinning reel should last a really long time. The design of a spinning reel is a very, very sound design, the way that they make them. So, and then they can make them so that they're so rigid that the parts hardly move in any way that they shouldn't. So, generally, spinning reels should last a long time.
nice.
That's all I got. I could talk about it forever, guys, but let's move on.
Yep. Kevin, the next one's to you. Quick dip. See, Derek gets me. As a builder and a craftsman, how important is it taking care of your tools, whether it's woodworking or fishing gear, whether it's a trailer, redoing the bearings, or?
Well, it's crucial because if we're doing the traveling we're doing, obviously on the trailers, I've had my mishaps with my trailers over the past, and there's nothing more helpless than sitting on the side of the road with a bearing completely out, or a wheel coming off, or I'm rebuilding mine again this year. So, but woodworking equipment and everything like that. A dull knife will catch you worse than a sharp knife. All those kind of little sayings. And in the windows, if you don't take care of them, that's what you're going to get. But just that. You got plenty of time. There's really no excuse. You got 2 months, 3 months of idle time to get it done. So it's a matter of getting out there and doing it.
Yeah.
So.
There was a note came up said, "Pay attention, Scott."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
I'm not
imagine
sure who that is.
about that.
Ian's Basson.
What's that?
That might be Matt.
Oh, it's Matt.
Well, he doesn't have to worry about a trailer, does he? Because he just hauls his stuff in the back of his
He's
truck.
got a
So,
trailer now.
He's got a
Doesn't he?
trailer now. He just
Yeah.
doesn't use it all the time.
well, Doug, from an angler's perspective, what off-season prep actually pays off once the season starts?
Yeah, well, I just want to acknowledge Kevin's excellent point. I did also experience a pretty rough fall with my trailer. I thought I knew enough, and trailers were I just had a disastrous one, and I'm looking forward to. I'm upgrading this year. I'm getting a trailer from Fish Texas, so I want to make sure that I take immaculate care of it, and looking forward to that. One of the things that I noticed that because my entry into the sport has been so rapid that I've quickly accumulated a lot of stuff, and it's disastrous to try and keep track of and to find out, like I know I bought these, particular baits, but it's the night before the tournament and I can't find them. So I've been spending a lot of time this winter kind of organizing it, trying to think about how I'm going to have baits, lures at the ready, for particular events, whether it's, pre-spawn, spawn, summertime. How do I kind of organize that so I can find everything? Because I ended up oftentimes, not having time to find it. I'm like, I know I bought these. I know they're in here somewhere, and I don't have them organized in a way that I can find them. So I'm spending a lot of time, organizing the garage and trying to get better organized with that. I do a lot of scheduling. I looked at the calendar the other day. I'm already scheduled for 19 tournaments this year. I'm doing a bunch of the Moyak and the Grassroots League and a couple of camos and, as many of the tournaments. So the scheduling has been really important to kind of negotiate with work about trying to get time off. And that means, I don't have a lot of opportunities to pre-fish. So I've got to figure out ways to sort of manage that. And then just spending time online, fishing reports and, looking at videos and doing map work and contours and depths. And, I do a lot of that as well. What I think I need to improve on is translating that when I'm on the water. Like I may have really prepared for a particular place, and then all of a sudden you get there and the wind is blowing so hard that you can't actually fish that side of the lake, and I didn't prep for the other side, and so you're blind, or it just doesn't transfer. So that's something I want to improve this year, is kind of taking that time that I spend prepping and really translating it to on the water. And then as Neil said, fishing the productive spots, right? I can kind of, now I've done it enough. I can kind of predict on a lake where there should be fish. So get there, see if you can pre-fish it, make sure you have, spots on either side of the lake, or, if the wind changes, do you have options A, B, and C, and then translating that stuff back, that information into actually sitting down and fishing an offsite, brush pile or something like that. I haven't been patient enough, and I'll, just scoot on by, and then I'll look back later. I'm like, I went right by a brush pile and I didn't even stop to fish it. So slowing down is a big part of it as well. So
yeah, I think pre-fishing's overrated. Just show up.
I love pre-fishing.
Yeah, we all know you love to win the pre-fish.
I do. I win every pre-fish. In my own mind.
I think it really helps too, as you get more experience. So like, was this your third year, Doug?
yeah.
Yeah, it's my fourth year, and I think, there's only so many lakes in Kansas you can fish, and so you kind of get more familiar with them. And a lot of times you can say this spot's never paid out, the 10 times I've been here, so I'm not even going to try that. Or you figure out where Clayton's at every tournament, and then you just go there. Stuff like that.
That's
really
a sound
helps.
strategy, Tony. Good job.
Speaking of which, he said my baits. Speaking of having too much stuff, my baits I ordered for CNC custom baits are done. So getting me some custom tube heads. So, and then Derek says I wish I could pre-fish more often. So I like pre-fishing. I like to try pre-fishing, the weekend before is always nice, if it's close enough to me that I can do that. So, and try to save those days for the lakes that I love the most. Like, I want to save more time at the end of the year so I can fish Lake of the Ozarks, more for like the big bass. And then like Milford's a lot of fun. So it's nice to spend 2 days there. But like, the strip pits, I'm only going to go down for a day. But I fished them enough now that I know which pits I'm not going to fish.
For me, it's every one of them apparently because I can't catch fish down there.
Yeah.
Let's go see where Kevin's.
You guys going to limit the strip that are allowed this year?
What's that? The strips? We're going to talk about that maybe.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about kind of narrowing it down to a smaller area.
But we want to make sure the South guys get represented as well in that.
So we just so we're talking to Todd about it. He's working on
probably next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So.
Well, the next question, Kevin, I'm going to go to you.
Yep.
One off-season habit you swear by, or something every angler should do right now.
It kind of falls in line with Doug. Just having everything in order, tackle-wise. I mean, I went through everything I had this year, and I've the last 2 or 3 years have simplified it more and more every year, carry less and less, and it's taken a lot of the stress out for me. We've fished these lakes enough now over the last 4, 5, 6 years in the kayaks that I don't need 15 more tackle boxes full of something that's possibly going to work when you already know that body of water is going to go. It's going to accept 2 or 3 different colors, and then that's about it. So I've simplified it down to this year. Instead of having everything in tackle boxes, I got them on the walls, and I'm just going to make a custom tote right for that trip and go. Instead of just hauling tons and tons of tackle. And I'm trying to simplify my pole too. That's not easy, but.
So let's say the Mine Wildlife area. What kind of tackle would you put in that box?
We've been
just for example.
we Daniel and I've been fishing this Columbus Bass Club down there, and that's been a hoot because it brings in different people with different John boats, bass boats, scamps, all the different levels, it's kind of the grassroots thought. And, you put too many people on one pit, and after about 45 minutes, it becomes brutal because those pits they get so spooked because of the clarity of them and, the pressure, they get super pressured. Mm-hmm. So, it comes down to how small of a bait can you throw, how light a tackle can you go and still hope to catch that 17 or 18-inch fish without losing it, and some guys will chuck all day long on big baits, but it's tough. Strip pit fishing is probably one of the more challenging places I've ever fished in all the United States, really.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you got the clarity, and you got there's structure-wise, there's this limited structure. You don't, there's some pits that have lots of weeds and stuff like that, but, if you're going to go fish Big Brutus pit, it's like a swimming pool, and then they're spooky. Mm-hmm. And you just have to put it right on their head or you're not going to catch one. So it's a challenge. I mean, we've done well down there, but it takes both of us, Daniel and I, to really brainstorm and find how finessey can we get to get those fish.
So another question for you is, what do you think, at that time of the year in April, what do you think the limits are going to be down there to win? Oh,
I think, if the weather warms up where we get those spawns coming in, I mean, every pit's got massive bass. It's just a matter of finding them, and getting one on their head, we've seen some good turn-ins over the years down there. KKA, we've had some, 90 plus inchers down, or Sika, we've had several tournaments down there that was, 90 plus inches to win it. But you have to be in the right time at the right place at the right pit, and that's what makes it kind of a difficult tournament. I know we fished the one with the All-American down there, and man, a lot of guys thought they were going to go in there and clean house, and that was tough. They learned real quick that strip pit fishing wasn't that easy. So
what, Travis won it in like 4 hours or something?
Yeah. Yeah. But they knew the place that they were supposed to be in too. Yeah. They knew where they were supposed to be sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that there's windows down there where they just bite like crazy and then they're off. And then they like hour windows, like, so if you're at a pit and you're like, man, I've been here 2 hours and nothing, and then all of a sudden it just turns on and it's on.
And it may only last 15 minutes.
Exactly.
That's the insanity of it.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lake, you can get a pattern and kind of follow it. If they're out 10 foot from the bank, 5 foot down, they're going to be that pretty much throughout the whole lake. But a strip pit, you come around a corner and half of them spook to the bottom. It makes it pretty difficult.
Yeah.
But it's also challenging. It's enjoyable. There's nothing. It's another body of water.
Yeah.
It's definitely unique. That's the
uniqueness and the tranquility of it. I've got pits that I can only get. I built a little old skiff where you can just slide it off the bank and you paddle around, but it's no bigger than half acre or two, an acre maybe of water.
Yeah.
But you're in there where probably somebody's not been in there for all season.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
and that's fun.
Taking the Hobie links.
Yeah. What number was that again?
Yeah.
47.2 or something.
Yeah.
Actually, I will probably take the links down there this year and fish.
I would for sure.
I'll be dragging it all over the place down there. But
yeah.
I think it kind of depends what they finalize the pits too that we're doing. So
right.
We're kind of working on that because if we're doing ones with all boat ramps, then we're whatever. So
I'll probably still take it. But
yeah.
No, what about you? What do you think about right now? Let's see here. One season, what should people be doing right now?
Same thing as these guys. Organize all your stuff, and I got my reels. Heck, I got them all. I service all my reels for me. I service them all before the season starts. I do it twice a year for me for my personal reels. I make sure they're all ready to go, and then I do I review my map work from like previous years and stuff. I don't think it's any secret, but I mean, if there's people on here that would listen later or whatever, not, you should be getting out there and go to Google Earth. You can look at past history on the maps, find the years that there were low water. You can figure out where structure is a little bit easier. And we all talk about, you don't have to spend a ton of money to be able to like find fish technology wise and stuff. One of the cheap things I do is, and it's beneficial, is like I have a membership to Omnia. You do the Omnia Pro thing, you get access to Navionics maps through your phone. So that's really good maps. And I'll mark the spots through, I'll look at the Google Earth, I'll compare it to the maps, and I'll mark about approximately where I think the spot is. And then I'll go out there and check and figure it out if that's right or not, And so I review my maps, especially, for some of the bigger lakes, and ones I don't fish that often. I've mapped them all out, like whether it's Perry or Melbourne and stuff like that. I have spots on all of them, but I review them again, and then, it never it never fails. You look at it again, and you'll find something else you didn't see the last time. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure we've all experienced that. It's like, and it's like, so I do that, just to make sure my mind's, ready for those lakes or whatever not, So I'll do that. I'll do that. I mean, I did it some a couple months ago, but leading up here, I'll do it again, especially with every lake, some of the ones I haven't seen for a while. So El Dorado, I haven't, I'll look at that one again. I haven't looked at it for a while. So, but I have all the old school maps and stuff too. I love that stuff. Like, not like even the hotspots ones, but you can find other like paper maps that you haven't, that, they don't really make much anymore. I mean, I found somebody on Facebook Marketplace that was selling a bunch of them for like nothing. I took them up on it. I got them all I could from them, just because sometimes you'll find something different, So I just do whatever. Heck, you have nothing but time, like someone else says. You got nothing but time. You might as well. My garage is a freaking disaster during the season, so I got to organize in the off season or else, because it's just going to happen again. Because whatever, life happens, right? So you just don't have time to put everything away the right way.
Yep.
Yeah, the guy who was on our podcast last fall, Matt Collins Fishing. He actually started doing some breakdown videos because he's moving to Kansas, and so you have to check it out. It's at Matt Collins Fishing. He's from Colorado, but he's moving to Fort Riley. He's got some good breakdown videos of Milford and Wilson and stuff like that. He's doing Kansas lakes because he'll probably be joining us for tournaments later this year. But
I'm banning Matt from my page.
Which Matt?
Sorry, Matt.
Collins or Matt Scooches?
All of them.
Anybody named Matt that might be fishing in Kansas, I think I'll just include.
Yeah.
Now, but I watched one of Matt Collins' fishes. He gave away a little. I wouldn't call it juice on Milford, but
No.
He gave away a couple. He did show a couple of decent spots that are really easy to find.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying, guys. It's like, anybody can find these spots. He's from Colorado and he's finding these spots. Heck, if you live here, you should be able to find it. You know, I mean, it's doable. Just look at Google Earth, look at some maps, figure it out, go out in the water and find it. And
I mentioned that because he did a good breakdown of how to like layer maps and things like that and use like Google Earth. So
yeah, exactly. That's what you got to do.
That's what
Don't just say, hey, I hate the thing where people get on social media. They're like, what they biting or this, and some of these people are serious. Like they want you to just give away everything. It's like, man, we put a lot of work. Some of us put a lot of work into this stuff, and I'm all for everybody going out there and having success, but sometimes just, part of the fun, I think, is putting in the work. I think anyway, maybe some people don't feel that way. I think part of the gratification is, finding success on your own.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I found it and boom, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Kayak anglers get that a lot because all of a sudden you find yourself, you just got a huge bag and nobody's been around you. I mean, how awesome is that when that happens,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or people were around you and they couldn't catch anything. That's even better.
Exactly.
I love saying, hey, Doug, you missed a fish.
Right. It happens a lot.
Oh, nothing better.
Doug, what about you? What should people be doing right now?
Well, I was just going to, finish that thought.
Yeah.
There's nothing more rewarding than doing the map work and then getting out in the water and you actually catch a fish where you're like, okay, that looks really good. And you get there and there's fish on it. And so that's really rewarding. I'll add maybe something a little different. I probably, when I started, I underestimated how physical tournament day is. You might leave the house at 3 and, you're like, oh, it's easy. You're just sitting in a boat all day. You're not sitting in a boat. You're constantly moving for 8 hours. And so I think I got tired a lot that first year, and that led to a couple spin outs where I was just so tired and I wasn't focused, and you miss fish. And so this year I've really kind of made a dedicated effort to get in the gym, to get stronger, to make sure that I can have a little bit more stamina, and then having a better plan for hydration and food during the day. I seem to kind of forget to drink water and eat, and then by noon or 1 o'clock, I'm so tired, and you just start, making mistake after mistake. And then I've actually missed a couple of the award ceremonies because I was so tired. I just wanted to go home. Mm-hmm. And so I've really put in a lot of time this year to kind of get a little bit more in better shape and be prepared and have a better plan on tournament day. Because a couple of times I'll be like, hey, I'll just pick something up at the grocery store on my way, to the ramp. And of course the grocery store or the they're not open yet because we start early, and you're like, shoot, I have nothing to drink all day. And so I got to have a better plan going in to make sure that, what I actually ended up doing a lot this year is setting timers on my watch for an alarm to go up. And be like, okay, I need to drink some water because, I'm busy fishing and I forget. So, but I think that would probably be what I was most surprised about. It's not, you're moving all day long. And so by the end of the day, I was just wiped out. So I'm trying to get in better shape this year.
Yeah.
Nice. And it looks like Scott said Clayton is listening, saying there's an off season.
Right. Exactly.
Taste the water. Yep. The smallmouth bite.
That's accurate. I'm rigging rods to fish Sunday.
Oh,
I think we all know where he's going.
We're all in trouble this year again.
I would actually be out fishing Sunday if I wasn't getting my new kayak I got everything in, got new gear, doing some videos and walkthroughs.
Hopefully you should do plenty of open water on Sunday. I don't know.
I don't know if it'll be by Sunday, but definitely by the end of next
either.
week.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be open. I don't think it'll be open by Sunday, honestly.
Where he's going.
Well, I mean, if you have Lacine nearby, sure, but
yeah,
It's a soft boiling water at Lacine.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I'll have my.
Go ahead.
I was hoping I have my kayak. I'm getting it all done this weekend, so I can go next weekend. Hopefully, if some lakes start to open up. So, with
So what are you
70
doing, Tony,
degrees
this time right now? What would you recommend?
This getting everything organized. I already had all my reels done by Neil. Kayak maintenance too, right? Like, you think it's just a piece of Tupperware. Like, for instance, I know Tim, you've been putting off getting your cables redone on your on your rudder and stuff, right? Like, checking your rudders, checking for any holes in boats, cracks, take it all apart, clean it really good, get that fish smell out of there. Organize your tackle box. I went through, restring your rods, reels, check them, make sure everything's, up to speed, and then buy a bunch of new stuff for this season.
Right.
there you go. That's the most important, right, Tony? Clayton's got your stuff done.
Yeah, I got also got a new Daiwa Tatula BFS 70. So,
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
And then I'm
reel.
I'm debating on the rod. I'm going to buy me a rod when they go on sale at Bass Pro next month. So, but I'm actually looking at pairing buying the BFS. The Daiwa rod just for that. It's like $99. The Tatula rod that is
so the Daiwa, those rods, those Tatula XTs, those are actually pretty darn good rods. I use more than a few of them.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So
I actually used, I think, 3 of them, and yeah, they performed good enough for me anyway. I mean, I know some guys like really nice stuff. I was thinking about when Kevin was saying earlier about with his kids and stuff, how he has some of the rods stripped down and whatever. I mean, you need some broken rods. I've broken more than my fair share in a kayak. I broke more rods in a kayak than I ever did before. I tell you what,
I've started
in a kayak. I feel like
I've started buying the St. Croix Victory rods because it's $60 to replace them when I break them, and I have 4 of them now, I think, and I've already had 2 of them are brand new because I broke them last year.
Yeah, I've done that. I've turned one in for them too. Actually, a Victory as well, and it's a nice deal.
Yeah, and it's like a 15-year warranty, so that I've broken a lot of rods. Anyway, but yeah, I've got a couple rods too, Kevin, for you too. I got bring down for you too. I've got a pile I've made, so I planned on, if I don't see you sooner, I'd bring them down for the Mineland Wildlife.
Yeah.
But I'd be happy to meet you up down there. I'll be down that way into March, possibly. So
okay. Yeah, we can talk back and forth.
Yeah, we'll hit up and you take me to a couple pits. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Take him to the good ones.
To the good ones?
He might not show up for the tournament.
Good ones.
All right. So I think we kind of have one more little segment here.
Yeah,
but I think we've kind of already hit on a lot of this stuff. But, preparing for this season coming up. And so if you had just one thing to like upgrade, Doug, I'll go to you. Like, one small thing that you think you upgraded and you're like, man, that was like, I can't believe I didn't do that sooner. Like, something simple, something easy but for Neil and Kevin, if anybody think of something.
I mean, I have upgraded almost every aspect of my fishing arsenal. For me, it's more of a technique. Every season kind of seems like I've been able to sort of add a different type of approach. And I just really have gotten gun shy about topwater fishing, which is crazy because, when you get to the ramp and everybody caught fish on buzzbait or frogs all day, and I didn't throw a single topwater lure all day. So that's my goal for this year, is to really try and spend more time doing that and kind of adding something else to my arsenal besides, my 3 or 4 different approaches, because, every day you're out on the water, the fish are reacting differently. And so, I need to add some confidence baits to my arsenal and make sure that You know, and I think I'm decent at catching a bunch of 9s and 10s and 11s. I want to start to have confidence to target bigger fish and be willing not to get bites throughout the day, to kind of find at least on tournament day. I still, I fish enough that I can go out and play it, catch plenty. And so just trying to add more confidence baits, more techniques, to kind of give me a little bit more versatility throughout the day, I think is important for me. So
I would check out that MHK Angler buzzbait video.
Right, I know. Every time I watch, I'm like, how does he catch so many fish on a buzzbait? I don't understand it.
I only show you the parts where I catch the fish. You don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
One of these days I'm going to do a counter on how many casts I make, and then kind of give people a little bit of a dose of reality of what it takes when you want to commit to that. You know what I mean? Because it's not easy.
Just gonna have to live stream. That's what everybody's doing now.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do, like how Marty does that. He does the ones where he's just going the whole time. I think I'm gonna do that where it's just filming straight. And so you get everything versus cutting it up. I'm just gonna do that one of these times. So
I think I'm the oddball on this one, but I think I'm the only one that uses a trailer hook on a buzzbait.
Nope, I do.
You do?
You didn't watch my buzzbait video, the one where I break down the buzzbaits.
Well, because a lot of guys I talk to do not use a trailer hook on there, but all my farm pond fishing over the years, I've caught so many big fish on that last hook, the trailer hook.
That's a big tip. The other big tip is that you got to put plastic on your buzzbait. It's not just for it's for a lot of purposes. One of the most important ones is that buzzbaits don't cast with a dang. All right, so put some plastic on there so you can cast it easier.
Yep.
And then it also gives the bass something to hone in on and hold on to. So put plastic on there. Yep. Otherwise, I just don't think you're not putting the things in your favor. But I don't know. For me, the one thing I would say that I learned that I changed much is making sure you use quality spinning reels. I'm a proponent, especially here in Kansas where we have a lot of smallies. All right, they're going to pull. You want a smooth drag because they are going to pull forever, especially when you get one of those 18, 19, 20 inchers. So, I'm not talking about spending a ton of money, but make sure you get just some decent quality spinning reel that's going to have a nice drag on it. That's going to hold up for you because it's really one of those bigger.
Being a real guy, being a real guy, what do you recommend as far as a spinning reel?
Shimano Vanford.
I'm so biased, man, but look, I fish all the Iowas, you guys mostly know, but guess what? I only fish Shimano spinning reels.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm biased. That's just how it is. I think that they have the smoothest drag, and that's why I stick with them.
Like a Sedona or a Vanford or
I fish the lowest one I fish is like some Saharas, and everything else is Saharas on up. Saharas and up. A Miravel is a great reel if you want like a lighter one that has a nice smooth drag. That Miravel still uses that old Shimano felt drag system, and it's really smooth. So,
and it's what, $120? Probably.
It's like $120, $130. It's worth it. And it's super light. So, just saying, that's my. I mean, we have smallies here. They fight like heck. We fish Ned rigs all the dang time, right? I mean, unless you're going to be doing on like Tony might try on his new BFS setup, you're going to be throwing on a spinning reel. And I know you got, like, especially you, Tim and Tony, you guys love spinning setups. I know, Doug, you throw a Ned rig a ton. You got to have good spinning setups, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
it took me a while, but I have 3 now. Shimano Vanfords. They're all the 3000 series. So
yeah, I like 3000s too, Tony. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
I got one, and I forget what the rod was on it, but I had it sitting on my side of my kayak. This will tell you how light they are, and the air inside of the rod was enough to keep that thing afloat in the water. It floated, and I was like, "Are you serious? That's how lightweight it is." And if you're throwing it all day, like the wear and tear on your shoulders, and you're going from a heavy reel, like it didn't seem heavy until I picked up the Shimano Vanford, and just because I was starting to get a little bit of elbow pain and shoulder pain from throwing it so much finesse, and honestly switching to that light rod and light, I don't know how much I cut out. Seems like nothing, but when you do it 500 casts a day or whatever you cast, I don't know how many I cast, but it really makes a huge difference.
Couldn't agree more.
That's
And it was
why.
already lubed. It was already lubed up because it dropped out of in the water. So it's all ready to go.
Dip and go.
Dip and go.
Kevin, you got anything for?
I would probably say just the last couple of years, learn more about the. I prefer obviously power fishing, but having that follow up bait on that power fishing, that you get that pretty good strike on that chatterbait or a buzz bait or something, and they just don't connect. To keep casting and casting and casting, I've just never found the last couple of years to be real productive, with that same bait. But having that Ned rig or having something, just dropping that one and throw it right in that same spot has been pretty productive for me. Just, you're changing it up really, the next cast basically, but you're locating that aggressive fish, but you're really coming through with that smaller stuff. It just doesn't seem like they can resist it if they're going to be that aggressive to hit a big spinner or a big chatterbait. So I don't know. It's new every year.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season. I got a little bit of a break. Now I'm ready to go at it hard for 2 or 3 weeks, and then wear myself out. No.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thanks. One last question, I think, for everybody, and then to kind of open it up if you guys want to talk about anything else. But I know, Doug, you kind of mentioned about your goal about learning a new technique or something. But what's one goal, or just if that's your goal for the year, what's one goal you have? Is it learning which bait are you wanting to learn this year at top water, right? So is there any other one?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, really being disciplined about fishing productive water, I think is a big thing for me. I've kind of been done a lot of I've never been to this lake, so I feel like I need to cruise the whole lake, and I'll catch a fish and I'll just move on. And I think I've been on a lot of the fisheries enough to kind of realize, okay, this is probably not going to be productive. And so slowing down for me, maybe making sure I really pick an area apart, and then moving off to another productive area and not worrying about, cove that I've never caught fish in. That's really been a hard lesson for me, because I kind of feel like, well, I should go back there and make a few casts. But I think probably, what I've learned from, a lot of the successful folks is they really kind of focus on that productive water. And, forward facing sonar kind of helps you with that now. I can kind of see where if an area is really active, there's a lot of bait fish, you can see fish on the bottom. This kind of gives you confidence that you can stay in that area and fish it a little bit longer and not move on and pass up on those fish. So, that's where the map work comes in, and that's where, time on the water, there's no substitute for, being on the water and really learning a body of water, and then really being more patient throughout the day. Because, even though you might not be catching fish now, they might not have come up to feed. And if you wait, 20 more minutes and kind of stick around, maybe they'll come up on the flat and feed, and, you'll start to get into them a little bit. So I think that's kind of been one of my biggest weaknesses is, just drifting around the lake and not really having a purpose to what I'm doing. And you end up, with 65 inches as a result of that. So I think I'm going to slow down a lot this year and really focus on, really productive ares.
If you just stay behind me, I fish really slow.
I know, right?
If you don't ever pass me, you'll go really slow.
Well, I mean, here's an example. Last year Quanstrom started chasing you around, and he's done really well just by sticking in the area with you. So
yeah,
I think that's good advice.
You always bring me good luck. I'll have you fish next to me any day of the week. Every time Doug's around me, comes around the corner, I catch a fish.
That's the only way I get on your videos.
Yeah. All right. Any goal for you this year, Neil?
Yeah, you guys will like this one. My goal is to fish more KKA events.
All right.
That's why we had you on here.
There you go. So you guys will see my membership coming here through pretty soon.
Perfect.
And then my other goal is just to catch a limit in every tournament. I just want to make sure I catch my limit in every tournament. You could. It's simple, but it's amazing how many times that you fail to do that when you know you really shouldn't.
It is so humbling.
It is very humbling, and
Yeah.
it is you know, I think it's an attainable goal, and I think it's a goal that, you know, lends itself to work in the process, you know, and just kind of, you know, just keep you moving. And then once you get that, you know, I mean, Marty speaks to it all the time. You know, he wants to catch one, then he wants to catch, you know, then he wants to catch 5, and then he wants to call, you know, and it's like, that's what you're working on. So yeah, catch my limit in every tournament and fish more. I mean, at this point right now, I'm hoping to fish them all, except maybe not Mind Land. Sorry, but we'll see.
I've got a. You could throw your kayak on my trailer, and we'll drive down there.
Well, maybe you'll convince. Maybe you'll convince me. We'll see.
And I believe Marty might fish a couple of our tournaments this year. So
it's always great to have him at a tournament.
Yep.
There you go.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yep. What was that? 2 years ago, Tony? It was I had skunk.
It was yeah.
Down
no,
there.
I think it was. Was it the first year you did your first tournament?
No, first year I caught 2 fish.
Yeah.
Get it straight.
Well, it was 2 years ago we had the Kansas Bass Nation or something, so it was a 12-inch minimum. And I got to like 11.75s. I went to this pit and had like 84 inches the night before. So I was like, oh, yeah, I got this. I went back there, and I zeroed on it. By like 12 o'clock, I start panicking, and then put in another pit. I think I put in 3 pits, 0 fish, missed a few of them. And I go to pull my kayak out, and I forgot to strap it on, and it slides off my trailer into the water. So I had to go out and swim out and get my kayak and put it back on my trailer. And 1 o'clock, I said, I'm going home. We'll see you later. So that's the only tournament I've never finished. So I went home and didn't catch a single fish. So
yeah, the next year he couldn't make it, and I was like, hey, can I fish that pit? And he's like, yeah, go for it. and I missed one that would have put me up there, and I would have got me first, but maybe second or third. But I know I went to a pit down there that I couldn't get anything over 13, 14 inches. Like everything in there was 13, 14 inches, but there was a lot of them. So I went there first, and I think I ended up with in 30 minutes, I had 70 inches. And then I was like, I'm leaving. So I went to another pit, chased bigger fish, because I knew there might've been a likely I may have caught 15, you know, but there wasn't enough big fish. I just wanted to get a limit. So left there, and then, you know, found some bigger fish and called every single one of them. So I think I ended up getting 4th or 5th on that tournament, but it was a lot of fun. It was a really fun day at the strip pits for me that day. So
I was going to add a quick story that I finished in 2024. I fished that tournament, and I finished dead last. And, you know, but that was maybe my proudest tournament, because I skunked until about 1 o'clock. And then I switched pits really quickly. The tournament that day finished at 2, and I caught 11 inches in about 35, 40 minutes to get my limit. But I still finished last because they were all tiny. But I was really proud. I was excited. Even though I finished last, I was like, man, I got a limit. It was really important, and I was able to do it really quickly.
Nice.
Kevin, any goals for this year?
Just probably focus more on the quality of fish. You know, I got kind of in that little trance where all I want to do is catch. You know, I focused too much on the catching the 5, and got away from the throwing for the bigger stuff. So I just need to get a better mix of that now. You know, so I don't know. Just getting out and get as much fishing as I can get in.
Yeah, that's my goal this year, is to get last year I did a lot of work on my house, so I didn't fish as much last year as I did the year before. And so my goal is to really get out and fish a lot this year. So
right.
And probably burn myself out. We'll see. Gaz says, good to hear you were all mortal at one time. So I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be as good as I am. I wouldn't consider myself good, so that's probably the wrong word, but I wouldn't be better than I was 3 years ago if I wasn't tournament fishing. And talking to people and learning and listening and getting a little bit of juice. I think that's where what's made me so much better is just kind of listening to people and talking to people and yeah. So, well, before Tim closes out here, does anybody have any final thoughts? Any shout outs to people, friends, kids, YouTube channels, whatever?
Well, everybody knows I got a YouTube channel, MHK Angler, so I'll give a shout out to that. I'll give a shout out to Kevin's recommendation about monthlies as well too. I'll just say that that's kind of where I, just learned doing a lot more kayak fishing. Kind of just drove me to do better. And I kept in my first year doing them. I kept running into this dang guy named Scott that kept freaking outdoing me, and this. Couldn't understand why the Scott Reese guy had longer fish and bigger fish than me. So it kind of ticked me off, but it was fun to have the competition back and forth. And, I decided if I can't beat him, I join him. So I put him on my team the next year. So it was a good way to, make a good friendship like we've talked about. So, but yeah, the monthlies are a good way to go. I'm going to try to do, I know I'm not a huge fan of the monthlies sometimes, but I'm going to try to do, probably what I'm going to stick to mainly this year is doing the main KK events and then doing, 3 or 4 monthlies throughout this year. It's probably what I'm going to try to do, and we'll see. And I would recommend if we could put a team component into monthlies, I think it'd be fun if we can figure something out.
If we could keep you 3 apart from each other, it's not going to happen.
Well, you can't. And the team has to be at least 2 people, so you're kind of stuck if it's like, Matt and I, or Scott and Matt, or something like that. Scott and Matt probably is almost unfair, but hey,
I think that's where you do the monthly random draw, the computer draw.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
For the month, a random draw for the month, sure.
It's like you got Matt and Scott again.
It's just hard because every once in a while you're going to have a guy that signs up to do the monthly, and he's just either not going to be able to do it as much as you would like, or so you just got to make it for not as much money, right? So it's not a big deal. And then if that guy, just make it just for competition purposes, just a few dollars here or there, just to make it fun.
We did make a minor tweak to that monthlies this year. Where you just have to submit your fish within 72 hours, just like the big bass. That's it.
Yep.
So, and then we also put a little in fine print. We put, if your name is Matt Scooches, you're not allowed to enter. And so it's in fine print.
No, I want him to enter. It's a good challenge to beat him. So.
Yeah, I'm coming for Scott. Yeah, Matt says he's coming for Scott. I think we'd all like to do that and beat Scott, just because.
And it's 1 month away. The big bass.
I don't want to beat Scott. I just want to catch that many big fish.
Yeah, I didn't realize that started in March already, Tim. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks away.
Yeah, and our monthlies are going to start next month as well. So,
yeah,
sweet.
Yep.
I want to add to what you said, Neil. I know you kind of did some last year, but you think you'll do any of the Kansas Yak Bass League this year? So
yeah, I think I might do. I was thinking, I might do a March tournament. So I'll see if I can figure that out here soon. And then I do want to do a night tournament, guys. I think they'd just be fun experience for us to do. And kind of maybe do like a barbecue in conjunction leading up to it before we all launch or something like that, just for some good camaraderie. It'd be fun.
It'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Neil, we could consider with Clayton's earlier comment about make that part of a combined club effort or something.
Sure.
Kids things. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, Clayton's, I love. Yeah.
How do we get your schedule, Clayton, to make sure we schedule that on that night? I mean, you're welcome to come to the barbecue, but I don't think.
Yeah, and I think Clayton needs to sign up for the Big Bass Bash.
Yeah, let's all talk Clayton into talk. Everybody agrees that Clayton.
I've seen all those pictures of those big bass. So
yeah, it's so just whatever. He's so full of. He says, "Oh, I don't catch any big fish."
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That, and then like the next day he posts like a 20.
I know.
It's like
whatever.
I know how Clayton fishes. He fishes again to beat himself, right? And so he will be out there working his butt off to get big bass. I know he will. So, and I have a good feeling he could take down Scott. So, but that's just my thought.
Well, no, it looks like you have at least 5 people that want to do a night tournament, so that might be a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Giant light bar.
Giant light bar spotlight.
We'd have to just do a.
What are we, gigging frogs? What?
I got news for you there. Derek. You can see less when you have those versus more. So I'm just telling you. But hey, whatever.
It'd be Lake Shawnee, probably the best night tournament, I think.
It would be awesome at Lake Shawnee, and I'm
Just
sure they
because
would
there's a
have
lot of
problems
light around
doing
and
it.
stuff. So.
Well, there's tons of light around there, so you actually can see, and so
Yeah, I think,
some of the
let's,
tweakers can't go back in, and
let's not forget this, and let's actually talk about that and what we might be
Okay.
able to do, and it'd be a nice when it's a little bit hotter out and stuff, you know.
No, we want to do it in the summertime when it's warmer throughout the night, and it's not as, and it's kind of sucks to fish during the day as much. So
yeah,
I'm game. They're awesome. I've done more than a few of them. They're just fun.
All right.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. So promote it cross clubs, and maybe we can get, especially at Shawnee Lake, we can probably get quite a few people there. So,
oh yeah,
look at everybody. Sure. They're all loving the fishing at night. So
I know you're messing around, Derek.
We all know you're messing around, Derek. So, Kevin, any shout outs or anything like that? We kind of got off on a tangent.
No, not necessarily. Just hoping to get a good turnouts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I might reintroduce or bring back the big bass lamp this year.
Oh, nice.
I know we had several people. Probably Clayton will get tired of putting them on his shelf, but maybe give a chance for some other guys to get that lamp.
Yeah.
Cool.
You need to make one like the leg lamp from
oh yeah.
Story. Only like a big bass that comes up.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll actually maybe we'll get us in a conversation with me, you and Tim and Todd and talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got any insights to what you're doing for trophies this year?
Tim had threw out a little suggestion on a metal type sign. And so I'm playing with some ideas on that, having the KK logo and then maybe like a license plate type size, doing some burning on some with the laser work. So we'll see, kind of playing with some different ideas.
Cool. Awesome. We've liked what you've done in the past. So
yeah.
Aluminum is nice, just because it's not as heavy.
Right. That plate's a little heavy.
Speaking of goals earlier, my only goal, I had 2 goals last year, was to get one of those really awesome trophies you did, you can kind of see them right behind me. And the second thing was to get a big bass in a KKA, because I'd never had a big bass trophy in a KKA. And I got both of them at the same place.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Johnny will forever love Milford.
I don't know. I love Melbourne a lot too, and Perry, and I like them all. So I'm actually excited about El Dorado this year too. So.
Oh yeah, me too.
So
we thought about doing like a monthly for a Smalley tournament, just Smalleys only for a monthly. So
yeah, that'd be fun.
Yep, yeah, something to think about as well. Maybe,
but not everybody has access to smallmouth. Was the big kind of reason.
Yeah.
Maybe you could set up a monthly, Neil, just because there's a lot more smallmouth lakes around here. So
could think about it.
Yeah.
Somehow, maybe, I don't know.
Doug,
I wish you could think of a way to make Smalleys more valuable without making it too much like, a disadvantage to the other guys. But
yeah. Doug, what about you? Any final thoughts?
Well, I just want to say thanks to my wife. I have a lot of other hobbies that I do a lot, and I don't think that she anticipated how much time I would spend and how much I love this new hobby of kayak fishing. So, she's very tolerant of me, being away almost every Saturday. And I do appreciate that. I think, one thing I think that I've sort of established, it took my wife sort of a little bit of time to figure out what I was talking to, but every tournament I refer to it as the Westgate Family College Fund, because I seem to be Clayton's. His boys are going to have a really good opportunity to go to college, as much as I've donated to him. So, but I'm happy to do that, and it's fun, and I like the competition. I'm glad that Kansas has so many hammers in it. It makes it really fun. So
awesome, love that. I would actually have to say I appreciate my wife very much too. She lets me spend money on stuff that's for the club. It's like it's important to you. It's important to me. So. She sometimes I think she likes it when I leave, and
I
sometimes
think so.
I know she misses me when I'm gone, but sometimes she's glad gets a break from me. A lot of people need breaks from me. It's okay. I understand. I'm a lot. So, Tim, you wanna close us out? Thank you guys so much. This was a fun
Yeah,
show,
thank
and
you,
I appreciate everybody
Thank
watching.
you.
Stick
Oh,
on the
and-
line after we close, and we'll talk to you for a
Yeah.
little bit after.
I do want to say that we want to shout out to all the guys that showed up at the Kayak Jack Expo. Some of the new guys that got interested in the club. And I'm really bad with names, so Tim, shout out a few of those names, like David Hutzel and
Yeah, David's going to come down and fish with Nebraska.
Cameron.
He's friends with Marty.
Cameron. I think it was Cameron. No,
Cody.
Cody. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's quite a few people. So
Yep.
I just bought a motor for the other kayaks so the kids can start winning their own money.
Ooh,
I know.
129.
What was it last year? What was the final 6 months?
I'm not sure. It was top
Scott,
4, right?
just I do all the big bass spreadsheets and stuff that are out there, and I was looking at it and I was doing the math, and before the last month, Scott didn't even do the first month. By the way, he didn't sign up till the second month, and by the second to last month, at the end of the month, he was in. I don't know what place it was.
Third, I think it was third.
He was down there. It was 1 month, and with one less fish than first place at that time, he was only 14 inches behind. so I was like, unless he doesn't catch a 15-inch fish, he will win this year and beat us all very badly. So yeah, thanks, Scott. We appreciate it. So
yeah, Scott.
All right, Tim.
Yeah, so basically closing this episode is a reminder that the off season isn't downtime. It's really, honestly, go time. It's build time, whether you're helping others, dialing in gear, sharing your stuff with other guys. Yeah, it's just time to go. It's 1 month away for the big bass and for the monthlies, and maybe by Monday the ice will be off the lakes. Maybe. We'll see. So yeah, we appreciate it. Thanks for watching the show. Like and subscribe, and yeah, I think we'll call it good.
See you
Thanks,
next
guys.
time.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.